B-Team, we're back, and we have a special guest, reoccurring guest, our buddy, Jarey Elder. Clap it up.
Let's go.
Jarey, yet again, thanks for coming on. So this is number 3 now, right, that you've been on?
I think so.
Yeah, third episode. Hell yeah.
We're getting somewhere.
We are getting somewhere. We are. But I know, we'll just get right into it. I know the big news, the merger between the USFL and the XFL. When did you first find out about it, and how much information was thrown at you right off the bat?
Honestly, it was crazy when stuff started coming out, because you were seeing, and I'm sure you guys were as well, seeing so much different things that were coming out on Twitter, Instagram, whatever it was, all social media. So we didn't really know what was true. We first started hearing rumors about it, honestly, like right at the end of our season. And they were kind of saying that both leagues were coming to the table and having conversations, but nothing was ever like said officially. And then I would say about 2 to 3 months after season, so we're talking around like September or October, it's like, all right, there's a merger, and we know the merger's happening, but we don't know none of the details of it. So we don't know if there's going to be a full merger with 16 teams, or if it's going to be what ended up happening at 8. And we've heard everything in between: 10 teams, 12 teams, 14. So kind of just figuring out, like, all right, don't read too much into it, and what is going to be my job if I have a job. Because that's the tough part of this merger. There's so many guys that are extremely talented that now are without jobs. So it sucks. But yeah, we kind of started hearing like official rumors, I guess, probably around like October-ish. And then it was kind of go from there and get ready and see what teams are going to be stuck around, and where you have a chance to play for.
Yeah. No, it's got to be nerve-wracking for anyone to go through that, but then you start thinking, like, you start hearing they're cutting down on teams. Like, do you know if there was a method behind what teams were kept and what weren't?
So it was 2 major corporations that were coming together. So a lot of people would think like, oh, this football team might have been better than this football team, but the football side of things actually has nothing to do with this merger. It's more of a straight business standpoint. So what makes the most sense as far as like fan base and stuff like that as well, and also, is this market cheaper to fly into? Is their stadium cheaper to pay? Like, all that stuff kind of went into it, and I believe it was Congress that ended up voting on these 2 corporations coming together. So football was like a afterthought when it comes to this, which is, I don't know, it's kind of tough to really think about when you're saying that football is an afterthought, talking about football players and being a football player, but it's really just what makes most sense for them business-wise.
Yeah, and I noticed that too, because when I was going over like the standings, obviously like in the division that you were in, you had the Stallions, and then obviously the Breakers, and then the other division, it was like the Maulers, they weren't in, and then I believe Michigan was one of them.
Michigan, yeah.
That was in there. So I always thought it was actually based on the football, obviously with the little business aspect on the end. But now I want to get into something that's, I wouldn't say confusing for me, but it's interesting, and you probably obviously know about it. The dispersal draft. So obviously, what you were saying before, like obviously a lot of guys lost their jobs because of the merger, and some of the teams getting eliminated. John DeFilippo is now the coach of the Showboats in Memphis.
Yep.
So how is it though, and how nice is it to hear and also see that 11 other players, or I would say 10 other players, including yourself, are also going to be brought to the Showboats? And what does that say, like on John DeFilippo and the trust he has in you?
Yeah, I mean, meeting Coach Flip last year and being able to play for him, it was great. He's a really good coach, and he really stands by his players and defends them. So going into the dispersal draft, I didn't really know how it was going to work. So each team got the opportunity to protect 45 of their players off of last year's roster. And after they protected those first 45, then it was an additional 20 that each team was allowed to protect before they even got to the dispersal draft. So I was extremely fortunate to be protected in that next 20 phase, because I wasn't on a team anymore. So everybody that wasn't on a team like me got dropped like into a pot. Their names get dropped into a pot. And then the coaches go and pick their next 20 that they wanted to protect, and then the dispersal draft happens. So, like I said, players did be the next line of protection, but it's kind of like it's tough, you know what I mean? Because as some of my teammates from the Breakers, the relationships we built, and the teams that we had the past couple of years. Now we playing against these guys, right? But that's the business aspect of it. It happens every day in the NFL. Like you'll be in a locker room with a guy, and it's week 6, week 7, right from the trade deadline, and then you play him the following week. So that's just all a part of the business. It's going to be fun to play against some of those guys, but the guys that we were able to get back on our roster, that Coach Flip was able to get back on our roster, I'm extremely excited to play with them again. Linebacker Diggs, Sage Sherrod, Shaheed, we got Mike Stevens, a lot of defensive guys, Jordan Belfort, like a lot of our defense guys we were able to bring back and bring over. So I'm extremely excited about that. And some of the offensive guys we lost is the same war we had in practice. Now it's just going to be live when the lights come on. And I think this season is going to be extremely, like, I think the step in competitiveness is going to take a step up just because it's so less of opportunities and less of spots that the cream of the crop has to rise to the top and get to work. So it's going to be exciting.
And I mean, the competitiveness side of it, that's one thing that we were actually talking about before we started this. You look at your league, and now it's down to 8 teams. Do you see this league expanding, or we even brought up maybe the CFL and you guys become almost like an AFL, AFC, NFC type of scenario? Do you ever see that happening in the future?
I think it would have to be a lot of big names that have to put their prides aside to get to something like that working out with CFL and us in the UFL. I think it'd be extremely cool. I think the product of football would be cool, but with the difference in rules and everything, I think that'll be tough to go to CFL. I do think that the UFL will get to a point that it is able to expand and go into different markets and grow. But at the end of the day, you need people to come in and back us, whether it's ownership buying us, like team owners coming in and buying the teams, or the NFL coming in like, hey, this is going to be our farm league. This is going to be our G League. You're pulling guys from us every single year. We've had back-to-back Pro Bowlers. Why not get behind it? And obviously there's a financial part, a big financial aspect of it. But if the NFL will come in and back us, I think you see a even better product, and it would make just as much sense for us as it would for them because, like I said, they're going to keep bringing guys up every single year. I think the first year, USFL, I think the NFL may have brought like 50 USFL guys in for camp.
Yeah.
And the following year, about 30 USFL guys and about 20-something XFL guys. So you're going to keep seeing that trend happen every single year. So why not have people in your exact or similar systems and somebody you can keep an eye on the whole year and follow, like, all right, how's he in meetings? And then there's no question about it because he's under your franchise. He's in your program right now. So there's not questions about it. You're not worried about him. Every question you might have, you're just going and calling your colleague to find these questions out. And the same thing with coaches. You have coaches that are running your similar playbook. If this is something that your owner decided to go into, you're running similar playbooks, running similar plays, and then you can fit right into the scheme faster in a faster transition from coaches to players to athletic trainers, everybody. I think it would make a whole lot of sense. But like I said, as it be a lot of big names, we either have to put their pride aside for the CFL and UFL to do it, or the NFL would see that these are a lot of quality players we're getting every year, and let's go make this thing real and make it happen.
Yeah, and I love that you brought that up because that was something I actually had down here, like would franchises come in and pick up teams? And if you think about it from a money side of things, I think it makes a lot of sense for the NFL to do that because if you come in, not only are you supporting another team, but you're supporting another league. And if the NFL, everyone sees it, NFL starts supporting Taylor Swift skyrockets. She was always going to skyrocket, but she's getting talked about more and more every day. So if the NFL comes in and is like, all right, now we're going to have 32 teams in this league, all of a sudden everyone's watching that. Everyone wants to know who their next guy in line is. That would only be better for you guys. It would be better for both leagues. And as a Dallas fan, I've seen USFL guys come through and do fantastic things for our team. There's probably been 4 or 5 probably in the last year and a half that have come through. And, I mean, Brandon Albury's now a Pro Bowler. He was probably one of the top 2 kickers in the league, if not the best one this year.
I feel like the NFL, in a way, was missing that, though. Like, if you look at the other sports, like you have the G League and the NBA. Baseball, you have double, triple, single A. But obviously, you have college and you have these college athletes come in. But when you have guys that are going undrafted and then aren't getting signed anywhere and not having an opportunity to play elsewhere, that's what I think the product is good for the long term, because you're getting all of these players that still want to chase their dream of playing football now in a league where you have the XFL and the USFL. So I think that's what the NFL needed, especially because of how many people have come from the USFL or the XFL have made it to the league, like Kevontae Turpin, Brandon Aubrey. Like I think it's good that they're actually making it better in a way. Like I feel like they were kind of splitting on trying to do their own thing, where it's like you have one option where you can select players from this league as well, obviously the CFL. But now since it's merging, I think it's going to get a lot more hype and a lot more recognition, in my opinion.
Yeah, for sure. And then you think about like the developmental side of things, where a quarterback can go to the league, get drafted 7th round, or go undrafted and sit practice squad for 3 years, and then people end up getting hurt, and he finally gets his shot to start, and he hasn't played football in 3 years. So if it eventually gets to back end, and would you rather sit practice squad for 3 years and never touch the field, or would you go to the UFL, make the same amount of money as practice squad if they eventually get to that point, and actually play and get taped? So then, all right, now somebody gets hurt and it's week whatever. Well, this guy's been playing these past couple of years here. We know what he can do on film. We can bring him up, and he 9 out of 10 are much more ready to play than that practice squad guy.
Yes.
And I think that would be the biggest success part of it too. But that's just something that we got to hope for, honestly.
No, for sure. It's going to be one of those where it's not going to happen overnight. You obviously know this too. Like it's going to be a couple of years where it's really getting solidified into the league that they want it to be in a way. So I think it's good, and I think it's just going to take a little bit of time, but I think when the years go by, I think we'll see a lot more news where the NFL is going to be involved with the UFL. So yeah, I mean, I think it's good, just regardless.
Yeah, but let's get into your upcoming season a little bit here too. First off, I know some of the rules are kind of meshing together. Are there any rules that are now going to be in your league that are going to take a little bit of getting used to? Because I know the XFL's got some funky ones. What was that?
Yeah, probably the field goals being taken away. So now the offense can go for a 1 or 2 or 3 point conversion, and there's not as many. There's not going to really be field goals or extra points, I guess I should say. That's going to take some getting used to, because you might go a whole series and then you got to do another rep to stop them to make sure they're not getting those 3 points or 2 points, whatever it is. I think that'll take a little bit of getting used to. And then punts as well. Now, like the outside gunners can't leave until the ball is kicked. It's a lot of stuff that obviously being a defensive guy, they're always trying to figure out ways for offense to win. They're always trying to figure out ways for offense. So
they're always trying to find a way.
They're always putting our back against the wall, but that's fine. I mean, just something you got to deal with and wouldn't take it any other way. So these are just the rules that's there, and you just got to find a way to succeed with those rules. So I think those are two that I'll definitely take some getting used to. I think our kickoff, they're going to use the USFL kickoff. Just the style of it looks more like football, and I think that's good. So I like that's the same. But yeah, definitely the 1, 2, and 3 point conversion, and then the punt will take a little bit of getting used to, but it won't take long.
No, and the gunners not being able to leave will only be good for you. That just means more time for you to set up the hurdle, get to the end zone.
Yeah, hopefully I get to do a little more punt return this year. I'm definitely looking forward to it. So
yeah,
we'll see. But on the showboats, we got some real good speed guys that can do some damage with the ball in their hands. So I'm excited to get with those guys too in the next week or so now.
Good.
Now, are you in Memphis now?
No, I'm still back home.
You're back home?
But yeah, we'll actually be. So this season, we're taking the XFL style. So all teams will be living in Arlington, and then on a couple of days before the game, whenever they decide to travel, we'll fly into the city that we're playing. So like for our home games, we'll be flying into Memphis to play our home games. When we play I think we play Michigan at home, but we played them twice. So when we play Michigan out at their spot, we'll fly up to Michigan. Wherever we're playing, we'll fly to, or Arlington bus to Houston. I wouldn't be surprised if we bus to Houston as well. But yeah, that's a big difference this year, because last year in the USFL we had 4 hubs, so we really only traveled like every other week. But now we're on a plane every single week for the most part. So that'll definitely be a change, but it'll be cool.
Yeah, that's an interesting part of this league too, because you guys are all in the same area. So basically, your group will kind of everyone from the Breakers will kind of still be in that area. So the family's still kind of staying together, which is interesting to me how they run that league. Yeah, I didn't realize that that's what they were doing. No, that would be cool, but lots of travel.
Yeah,
lots of travel.
Yeah, being a Division II guy, you really don't take too many charter flights.
Mm-hmm.
I think the only way you get on a charter plane is if for football, like you're going to the national championship or you're going to the Final Four is like the only way you get charter flight. So the first time, like my first year in the USFL, like being with all these SEC, Big Ten, all these Power 5 guys, they charter flights every week, every other week. They're just used to it. And I'm sitting there like, yo, this is crazy. Like, what? I mean, it's my first time on a charter flight. And like, what should I do in college? I said, we bust everywhere. We bust 10 hours to Boston. Like, that's just what you do in D2. So it's funny, but now I'm kind of used to it. And it's just another flight, another travel. And especially this year, it's going to be charter flights every week. So
yeah. Well, a bus ride to Houston won't be too bad because I know you've probably made the trip up to Lake Erie a couple of times. Did you guys play Mercyhurst and Gannon? Yeah. That trip is the absolute worst.
Yeah, and Edinburgh out there.
Yep. I at least did not have to make that one. They don't have a soccer team. But, jeez, man, those trips, you get to Penn State, and then after that, it's like 3 hours of nothing.
Yep.
But, man.
Yeah, those aren't fun.
No. Yeah, Mike
would
know.
Those trips to Erie, oh, my God.
Yeah, Mike would hear about them when I got home.
Oh, yeah. I'd be partying. Muller's dead tired, want to go to bed. Me and my buddy are up just partying our asses off. Good times, Kyle. Good times.
Yeah.
But
No. Yeah. We had a lot of questions about this league just because it's like no one really knows unless you're in the league what's going on. You know what I mean? Like you think you know, but until it actually happens, you don't really know. And I'm excited to be able to watch on basically every single streaming platform. It seems like you guys will be on ESPN some weeks. So like I think it was
Fox,
CBS, Fox. Yeah. So you're gonna be on all the major platforms, which will be awesome for you guys. I think it's good for the fans too.
But yeah, I was saying though, that's one of the cool parts of this merger with XFL bringing their ESPN side and ABC as well too. But and us having Fox, USA, Peacock. So yeah, all of our games will be everywhere the whole season, which is extremely cool. So looking forward to it. Family back home can support whatever streaming device they decide to use or network they decide to use. Is a real cool part of that.
Yeah. So how has preseason been going for you? Like even just with regard to your teammates at Memphis, like have they reached out to you and like welcomed you, like hey, like introduce themselves and whatnot?
Yeah, we have a group chat where everybody just kind of chimes in and says just a little bit or said what's up and said their name. So it's definitely cool. Sports have that unique thing about them. Like you get so close with dudes in a 1 week, 2 week span. So once we get there, get practicing, sweating all together and going through the same schedules and spending so much time together, you just end up naturally getting closer with guys. So as we get there and start spending more time, I'm sure it'll be just like any other team. Just a bunch of brothers, and you'll have your arguments and your fights, but it's covered up by a lot more good times, especially when you're winning. So I'm looking forward to it.
Big time, man. It's exciting, though. I mean, it's a new team for you, but kind of like the same team in a way because of the returning players and then your coach. But, the season starts, March 30th, I think is the first game, right?
Yeah, I think we play March 31st, though, for our first game. But, yeah, it's right around the corner, which is it's crazy because you look up and the offseason is just gone. And you just off-season, you're training and spending time as much time as you can with family and close friends and everything. And in the blink of eyes, like, pack the bags. It's time to get back to work. You know what I mean? But it's exciting, man.
Yeah. So I guess my last thing here is obviously when you played at Westchester and like obviously when you were growing up, you played football in the fall. And obviously you'd be cold, but like for me when I played football, like you play in the cold and I like it because like you're running around, you're sweating a bunch, but like I feel like the spring and then once you're really getting deep into spring, it gets hot. Like do you notice a huge difference with that? And like how do you kind of cope with that?
I mean, the past couple of years playing in Alabama, Birmingham, Alabama, the heat is
Yeah.
nothing like it. What the field temperatures say, and I think it's even hotter than that. It's just about preparation. Like at this point in my career and all the other guys in the league, you have to do what you need to do to be prepared. Prepare like a pro, do everything. So whether that's extra hydration, Pedialytes, whatever you do, IVs, a lot of guys do whatever you need to do to get ready for a game is what you kind of have to do. But it's more just setting the program and getting ready. Like you said, like when we were younger, growing up, it gets later in the season, it's cold outside. The cold never bothered me. I was one of those guys that played in a short sleeve shirt in the cold. It was what it was. And then when it's hot, like it's hot. There's nothing you can do about
Yeah.
it. Your helmet's sort of pads aren't going nowhere.
God.
So playing it, like I said, playing Alabama, the heat is something you get used to and get used to it quick. Like my girlfriend's mom always says, like, I don't know how you walk around when I come back home in the summertime. I don't know how you walk around with a hoodie. I'm like, because this is the Lehigh Valley in Pennsylvania, it's not Alabama. Like this weather is comfortable to me. It's not scorching hot. So
Yep.
yeah, you get used to it though. Yeah, it's just another element of the game that you got to go through and fight through, but you don't really pay attention to it.
Yeah. I was never a cold weather person. Give me
pads
all the
on.
heat. The feet of snow that we just got overnight, I could do without. Could do without
Yeah,
that.
definitely after shoveling it.
Yeah. Oh my God. That was a
That
workout in
sucked.
itself.
Yep.
But
It always is.
Yeah.
yeah. Mike, you got anything else?
No. I got what I needed. I
Yeah.
enjoyed it, per
Yeah.
usual.
I'm excited for the season to start. I enjoyed last
Yeah.
season.
Yeah,
Yeah.
me too.
Especially when you were hurdling people and like we were seeing you go off. Like him and I would be texting each other like, dude, you just see that
Yeah.
highlight? Like that was insane. No. So I'm excited to get it going.
back to it.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
appreciate it. It's definitely going to be fun. Like I said, the competition is going to be high. I think this is going to be one of the most exciting, even preseason camps in the past 2 years, just because our rosters were coming in. This is at 75 players, and we got to get down to 50. So, I mean, at the end of the day, someone's trying to take food off your table and food off your plate. So you got to make sure keep a full plate and keep eating at the end of the day. So
Yeah.
I'm excited to get in there and compete. Off-season stuff, not competing. You got to find different ways. So
For sure.
ready
Even
to get
when
you get
even when like the new competition too, like you're getting 4 new teams that you have never played against. So that's something to kind of look forward to, have a chip on your shoulder as well.
definitely, especially when you turn on ESPN in the off season, and which I don't do too often, but sometimes wherever I'm at, you hear Pat McAfee bashing the USFL and saying the XFL product was way better. You hear little things like that or see little comments like that. It adds fuel to the fire. I think our level of competition in USFL is really high, and I'm excited to get a chance to play against those XFL guys because they're really talented, and so are we. So I think us coming together would be exciting, but I hope there's a little bit of rivalry. I hope there's a lot of trash talking in between XFL and USFL teams. Obviously, as a competitor, you want to go out there and beat everybody. But I hope they got a circle. And I mean, I hope every team has a circle because at the end of the day, it's another game for us. But nothing like having a target on your back. And I feel like Pat McAfee is just building up targets for them and got to take them out at the end of the day. So
I love
definitely
that.
excited. And if you,
Come on.
If you look at the numbers too, if you look at the numbers too, there's been like even this past year where we both were going at the same time. Like something that they did extremely well was having fans at the games because they played in all their markets, right? We didn't play in all our markets, so saying they were fans of the game, it's hard to get fans from New Jersey to drive 5-6 hours to Canton, Ohio. Not every fan's going to do that, which is completely fine. Not everybody has the means to do it. So now we're all going to have a chance to play in our market. And at the end of the day, it's about football more than anything else. And if you look at the product and how many guys the USFL Central League, that's what really matters and that's what really talks. And we spent more than they did last year. So it'll definitely be exciting.
100%. Good? All right. You're just
Good.
nodding. I mean, I was like, I
Good.
don't know what's going on. No, but yeah. No, I totally agree with you. Going into the market, it's going to be fantastic. And we're looking forward to it. So, Jarey, thank you for coming on again, man. It was a great time catching up with you, and we'll be tuning into game number 1. We'll keep in touch through preseason, see where we're at. Let us know where the showboats are going to finish up. But, hey, good luck, all right? We'll be cheering for you.
Yes, we will,
Thank you guys,
Jarey.
man. Definitely appreciate it.
Thanks
All
for coming on, bro.
Thank
Yet
you, man.
again.